gotta get into a fight together. We gotta do something where me and you are pissed off for a short amount of time and a lot, but we still show love to each other.
All right, what about this?
So,
and you want to restart? You want to restart?
All right. Welcome to the podcast, Tony.
Thank you. You want to talk to the cam?
Welcome to the podcast, Tony.
All right. So we've done now. How many episodes have we done?
9.
9. We were going to have a 10th one today, but it got postponed, luckily, honestly, for myself as well, because I was, as you know, I was late. I was stuck in Orlando doing my 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm. You know what's crazy? I canceled last week due to sickness, but then I felt better on the Friday. I thought maybe I should put it back on. And we were shooting at 3 o'clock, and my wife's car broke down at 2:30. I would have had to cancel anyways.
Dang.
Yeah, so that was really fortunate.
It was.
Or,
hey, shout out God.
Shout out to the Lord.
Yes.
Washa. Well, that's right. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later today.
Okay.
Since we need to discuss some of that. All right. Yeah. So 9 episodes. Let me just think. So we've posted 6. We've got 1, 2, 3. Yeah. 9 podcasts. I'm working on one of the ops still.
Yep.
With your mom.
Yeah.
Which, let's just go through it. So episode 1, right?
Episode 1.
Mike Tyner.
Yep. We did the talk. He was he was a man that struggled with alcoholism for a little bit, and then he ended up getting a DUI, and that wasn't necessarily his wake up call, but other things transpired. So then, what did we decide the bite of the elephant was going to be?
So yeah, we went out. I mean, everybody. I'm sure the people that are watching this have seen that because that's our highest viewed video. But maybe not. Okay. Sure. So talk to Mike.
Yeah, I figured we'd break down each.
The bite of the elephant was going out and giving cards out to try and give people rides, free rides to stop DUIs.
That's right.
Which was a sick catchphrase.
It was.
I feel like that's a ministry in itself. Somebody should make that.
Yeah.
As a thing.
Yeah, we talked about what we would do differently if we were to actually do that on as a ministry.
Yeah.
Like throughout the...
Yeah, like maybe just let me hand out all the cards.
Yeah, bro. Did you have like a 3 out of 3 close rate?
100%.
You had 100% close rate? I had a 0% close rate. I tried it one time. Phil was like, hey, man, I did these ones. We recorded one of them. All right, this one's you. Go for it. Yep. We went to a bar.
Don't say that. Yeah, I don't want to call them out.
No. Okay, so we went to a bar.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. We got to make sure we edit that.
And so we went to a bar, and I walked up to him. I was like, I don't even know what I said, but I think I used the word ministry in it. And the guy was like, no, we can't do that. No, we can't.
I'll tell you what it was, dude. Way too sales pitchy. Dude, you like came in there like, it was like the overconfidence of like somebody trying to sell you something. That stuff's palpable.
I mean, I'm a salesman, right? So that's what my 9 to 5 is.
But the confidence is not necessary, right? It's like, I
should have humbled myself.
You should have. Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird thing. Because it was just like, when you came in, like, I was coming in like,
so yeah, what was your perspective?
We're trying this out, dude. We're trying this out. Like, here you go, dude. Just let me know if anybody needs something, okay?
Right.
You were like, yeah, man. You came in, what's up, man? How you doing? And you like shook his hand all firm, and I was like, oh gosh, dude. Immediately.
Trying to make a connection, man. Make a connection with the man.
Immediately, I'm like, oh no. And then you're like, hey man, we're with a ministry over here. We're trying to help people. And so we really want to leave this card, or something like, we want to offer your customers, or some. It was some kind of line like, we got something to give,
right?
And it was just kind of like, you could tell he was saying no, like by the second line.
Yeah.
And you went like 2 more lines or something, and I was just like, dadgummit, dude. I almost stepped in. I almost stepped in and be like, hey, we're not weird.
No, but you were across the street, man.
I wasn't across the street. I was right there. I was right. He let me in, and then I waited for you.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay. That was a while ago.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny. Yeah, I think. I think that was you watching too many sales pitch videos or something. You're that guy, though.
Something.
I mean, I'm sure people can tell by that first podcast you did that you're a kind of guy that like.
The first podcast with Mario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you're kind of the guy that's like, I don't know what are they? What are those guys? Philosopher guys?
Yeah, I don't know. I like my sayings. Phil always
like
gives
the
me
Chads. I
Chads,
feel like they're Chad.
bro. The Chads.
Is it Chad an insult? Whatever it is, when guys are sitting there like trying to say deep lines and like trying to say like Chris Williamson, I think is one of those guys, right? Is that a guy?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah,
where it's like very like profound. Just, do you really think that this is? And I'm like, hey man, that's not how people talk. You know, it's like,
what about this line? The magic, the magic that you're looking for is in the work that you're avoiding.
All right, so where'd you get that from, dude?
Him.
Okay.
Yeah. Technically, it's a Hermosi quote, but yeah.
I get that works for him. I'm not hating on him per se, but I'm saying in like a ministry context, I don't think that works.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I really don't think so. But that's just part of my personality. So like I've only gotten, you were the one that gives me the most crap for it by far. And I was trying to talk to a girl, and I think I heard from the grapevine that she said that she thought that I was too philosophical.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, well, in that case, I mean, I am who I am, so I'm not gonna hide who I am. So it just wasn't a good fit. And then the person I'm seeing now, dating, she loves that.
She loves all the sayings?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. Like I said, I'm not hating on him. I just think that this is a relational thing. Like, we're just trying to get to know people to find a way to help them. And so it's really funny when my boy on the top ropes goes like, you know, some Marcus Aurelius quote or something. I'm like, what? You know? Or what'd you say last one? It was win the morning, win the day, huh? Or something. You said
that does sound something like I would say, and I probably have said that.
And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
But that doesn't get us anywhere closer to what the heck we're trying. It's like we're always...
In that context, with Mario, I think it felt like you got to know your audience, right? Not everyone is like that.
Yeah, but
Mario is definitely someone that like that.
I get you. Yeah, I think that you're more of a Mario guy than I was, you know, for sure.
Yeah, I would say so. I think so.
But you know, I think a lot of people might think of podcasting as like you're trying to be significant or something as a guest. You know, you want to add something. Like if somebody asked me to be on a podcast and I felt like I didn't have anything big going on in my life, I would try to say something significant. You know, I would try and like bring content for them. Right. I feel obligated. And on our podcast, it's just like, no, that's not what we're going for. Like we're not actually trying to get some gurus or whatever it is, or like I think the Word of God has enough wisdom in it where when we're quoting it and saying like, this is how we're going to do this, like that's where the wisdom of our podcast kind of proliferates.
Right.
Right. It's not so much of just like having some man or some woman on here that has a lot of insight. That stuff's decent, but it's not as good as what we got. I mean, none of it is, you know?
Right.
So.
I mean, you can't get better than God, so, and it's His Word. So that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, it's all in there. You know, like if you really cover the whole thing, it really encompasses all of life. It's not like you left something out.
Yeah. Speaking just a thought. What do you have a favorite book of like the Old Testament and a favorite book of the New Testament?
Oh no, Old Testament book probably Malachi, because that's when it's over. And then,
yeah. So you're not an Old Testament guy.
Heck no.
All right.
You know what? Okay. Genesis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anything specific about Genesis that you just like? I really gravitate towards this.
I mean, it's pretty cool that God wrestled. You know,
Yeah,
it's pretty dope.
I mean, we're jiu-jitsu guys. You more.
I got
so
some
than
thoughts
I am.
on that, but we can talk about that another day.
time. Yeah.
So,
And the New Testament.
New Testament. I mean, definitely James, but
You too.
outside of James, it's probably Philippians.
Interesting.
Probably Philippians.
Is that because your name's Phil?
No.
Philip.
I tried to memorize Philippians for a while, the whole book. Like it's 4 chapters, but I got like a chapter and a half, I think, before I was just like, what am I doing this for? I don't really memorize scripture. I'm kind of an odd bird when it comes to, like, I don't know if you guys at home hear me like quoting scripture. I never really say verses because I'm always on Audible.
Yeah.
I always listen to scripture.
Really? So you're
Like,
not a big reader?
I'm like 90% of the time on my walks and stuff, like when I'm doing exercise, I'm just sitting there for like an hour and a half. Just it goes so much faster than me, and for me, like I can get a lot more content, you know.
Interesting.
But they don't say the verses on there,
Right? Yeah, I'm kind of the same way.
Oh yeah, it's in Romans.
Yeah,
Like I remember it's in Romans,
Yeah.
but I mean, a lot of times I don't know the chapter either.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't know the addresses to a lot of scripture, but I'm like you. I'll be like, yeah, it's in Romans, or it's in James. You know, I know what Jude kind of talks about, and things like that. Obviously, like the Gospels, you have your synoptic ones, and then you have John, which is an outlier. But like, so you can kind of, I know John the best because that's my favorite Gospel. But,
Typical.
Is that typical?
I mean, yeah. If you want to like, I feel like that's one of those the gospel of like, man, this is way deeper than the others, you know?
I guess it's on brand.
Wow. So about that humility.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I like Mark. Mark 16 is pretty funny where he talks about being naked
Oh yeah.
and escaping.
Yeah.
But that's Mark adding his stuff in there.
Right.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot because the Bible doesn't really cover comedy. It doesn't really cover entertainment.
No.
You know?
So I feel like John has some comedy to it.
Where?
When John is straight up dissing Peter, like, yeah, I beat him in a foot race.
Yeah, it's strange. Yeah, that's a strange one. I mean, the fact that, like, there's some strange things about John, right? I mean, first of all, how he talks about
Himself?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think that's a humility thing. I think it's like, I'm loved, but I don't want to be in this book. Like, I don't want you guys to have to read about me all
Right.
the time. But then he's the only one that mentions Peter when one of the disciples cuts the ear off. I think there's some kind of study about that where since John's was later, it was after Peter's death, and so he could publish that Peter's the one that cut his ear off. But the other guys were like, we're not gonna snitch on our boy.
Right.
So when we write our gospel, it's not gonna include who it is, which is really cool.
Yeah.
You know, to think about like Matthew just sitting there like, I ain't saying his name.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, which is, I don't know. That's something to think about. Something to think about, because would somebody say that's the sin of omission but then that would mess up with.
I don't think that would be. Yeah, but it is
To
interesting.
know the truth but not say it.
He adds other things to it, and it's obviously after all the other ones are written. So that's probably why there's most of the stories are different than the other three.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, there's always times where Jesus is like not saying everything, and then he'll go to the disciples and talk to them about stuff. So yeah, that's obvious that that's not a sinful thing. That makes sense, but that is not a sinful thing to hold that back in the other Gospels. I'm recovering from an illness last week, which is why I'm not on 75 hard. I have broken it.
Yeah, you failed.
I went 28 days, 29 maybe. And
On day 21.
You are?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I failed twice. First time I did it on purpose. Second time I forgot to take a picture, so that's on me.
Gotcha. But anyways, so wow,
We went on a tangent.
Shoot. Yes, we did.
Yeah, we
I
did.
realize this now.
Yeah.
Okay. Episode 1, we did, you failed on your end. Sorry.
Speaking of
I shouldn't have
failures.
said that.
Yeah. No, you're
I
good.
shouldn't have said it that aggressively.
You know what?
No, you failed.
I tried. Okay.
You tried,
I was out there.
but you used
I was in the trenches.
worldly confidence, not that godly confidence. I don't feel like self-confidence is like should even be a thing for us, dude. Like, what are we supposed to be confident in? We're just
Jesus.
We're just
Church answer right there.
you know what I'm saying? It's like,
I mean, that's 100% right. Because like, what do we have to offer, right? Besides just obedience, that's literally the only thing that
but
we
do you
have to
feel
offer.
like you brought in some self-confidence there?
Yeah, because I was nervous, bro. I was.
Why don't you admit that you're nervous? I asked you before the last podcast. Are
On
you
the-
nervous? And you're like, nah, man, I've been in ministry for a while now, no offense or something. I was like, what the heck?
No, not like that. No,
Tony,
no.
what?
See, now you're trying to make me look bad.
Okay. Say what you said then.
You were saying, I think you were checking me on my in my life as far as the girlfriend side of things, and just making sure that I was, staying on the right and narrow.
Definitely did not bring that up right then.
You did. That's how I remember it. I'm not saying that's we could. I don't know. Do you remember it differently? Because that's how I remember it.
I mean, it was last week, dog. So,
Sorry. 2 weeks ago.
Oh shoot, yeah, we canceled.
Yeah.
So I said, all right, man, first podcast where you're going to be in. Like, are you nervous getting in the ministry and like Satan's going to come after you and stuff? Like, are you nervous? And you're like, and then you said that line.
Yeah. Okay. So I wasn't nervous about being on a podcast. I'm fine with this side of things. What I was saying was like I was nervous, like being on so like I would attribute to like I'm not nervous talking to you because I know you, right? But if I was to go out and be a missionary or do like evangelism, like on the street of Tampa or something, I would have some butterflies and I would have some
Oh
things.
yeah, okay.
So that's what I was saying. Like I was nervous, but I'm not.
So you weren't nervous 2 weeks ago doing this podcast
on the podcast? No.
Okay.
No. I'll tell you what I.
But then why
typically
did you say that
more.
line? Why
What?
did you say that line about you being in minute? No offense. You said no offense.
Did I say no offense?
Yes, you did, dude.
I don't know. Because I thought you were talking about the podcast, like if I was nervous about being on the podcast, because I was doing a men's group, so I was used to talking in front of people for a while, and then speaking of, I guess, like worldly confidence, like I've had to do like in networking events, and I've had to stand up in front of like 50 plus people and do a little sales pitch or like do a little a thing like a PowerPoint essentially. So I was gotten used to speaking in front of people on that aspect, but as far as because I think when you're doing things like that, you're not really being vulnerable because you're just talking about like worldly things, right? But if you're on the streets and like you're trying to be, we've talked about this, we're the hands essentially of that's what we're trying to do on the podcast, to be the hands of Jesus, right? So like going out and actually doing the work. Hey man, I need you to calm that down.
Am I coughing a lot?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Maybe I'll just mute these parts.
It's okay. No, but I think there's a vulnerability that comes out, right? Because if we're, John Tribble talked about this, and that's kind of where I found this the more.
That's a mentor of his.
Yeah, and yours, right? Would you say? Yeah. But he talks about Jesus or God is a Trinity, right? Father, Son, Holy Spirit, and if we're made in His image, then we're also Trinities in our own ways. So we are a spirit, we have a soul, and we live in a body. So I think if we are a spirit, that's our most vulnerable space, right? Because it's not against flesh and blood, it's about principalities. So that's where when things get thrown at you, that's where the devil tries to hit you. He goes after like your spirit, right? So that's what he tries to crush. and he does that through things with your body and things with your mind and your emotions, like your soul, to get to your spirit. So I think when you're out on the street and you're trying to do like ministry type things, you're really trying to work in the spirit. So that's like your most vulnerable element of yourself. So I think that's probably why I was more nervous. Does that make sense? Is that too philosophical?
It makes sense that I don't think that's a very quick way to say something very, very in depth, right? So there's a lot more that goes to that. But,
right.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's just understanding that you're doing something that is new and unusual. I mean, that's okay to be nervous. I don't think Satan's coming after your spirit right then.
No. Yeah, no, I agree.
Like I don't think there was any satanic attack there by you getting nervous.
No, I agree.
But yeah, it is interesting what you're saying, where he tries to attack your spirit itself. Yeah. So, okay. So the first one, we're going to get through this first episode. Gosh. Okay. I think that it went well for what it was. I really think it went well for what it was.
Yeah.
So
it was also our first op.
Dude, it's first op, and it's like the first time we're looking at cameras. I mean, this is more comfortable now.
Right.
But at that first one, I'm just sitting there like, oh gosh, dude, what am I doing with this Powerpuff Girl shirt on? So
I had to I made you change it, dude. It was
yeah,
like, what?
Well, no, I had a dirty shirt on first. I didn't think it was that dirty until I looked down.
Yeah.
And then you're like, you got another change? And I was like, yeah, I got one.
Yeah, pink powder puff shirt, bro. That was maybe a size too small, maybe 2 sizes too small.
All right, dude. We're gonna grapple.
It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll probably mother's milk me or something.
I would never do that to you.
No, never.
And then, but I thought it went well. I thought that we had a good time frame, and it actually did pan out. Like somebody did call, so that was cool.
Yeah, it was like 2 weeks later, wasn't it?
Yeah, later. Later. But, it is what it is. And that's kind of what, I guess, what I've really enjoyed about it is that the ministry is out there. Like, this isn't a church job, but we're still being the church.
Yeah.
And I think that if we would have gotten one ride right then, which I'm hoping, man, that somebody out there sees that and starts their own thing. And then that's our ministry. That was our real ministry.
Right.
The reason why we were out there is to inspire that person.
Right.
And
take the first small bite. Maybe not the first bite, but like take a small bite.
Be out there. I mean, it's sowing seeds, man.
Yeah.
So that's what that first video is. It's just a seed. And, I think at the time of this recording, there's like 80 people that have watched that, or 80 views on it. And so it's like, as we grow, everybody likes to go back and see where people came from.
Right.
So that somebody's going to watch that, and then if they give one drunk person a ride, dude, it's game. That's like, it's worth it.
Right.
It's worth the outing. So, I mean, it's worth the outing already because we did the output, which is kind of where we need to keep our head at, is to just make sure we're doing the output. We're not worried about the outcome, but we are just doing the output, doing the work.
Yeah.
And being obedient. So that's kind of where it goes, because that's kind of, I think that's the main reason why I don't feel like a failure right now, because that op failed in numerical sense, right? Then the second op,
which was Marcus.
Marcus hasn't gotten a job or any offers yet.
Yeah.
Failed. Third op, nobody contacted Terry.
No.
Okay, so we're 0 for 3. Fourth op, nobody has commented that the nutrition breakdown thing hasn't been helpful at all. Like,
No, we actually got one dislike. Didn't
We-
we, didn't we get one dislike?
No. That was on the podcast. We got a dislike. I guess.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Somebody didn't like your brother. So that was kind of like, I mean, we did it, but it didn't do it. Like, we don't see anything happening. I guess what we did do is we gave it to somebody.
I was
going to
say that, yeah. So I would say that was
Okay.
That was like a success, right? We did what we wanted to do, and then we gave our
Yeah.
findings to the unopened
There we
findings.
go.
To
Our first
someone.
successful op right off the rip was there.
Yeah.
Fifth was, who's number 5?
Was that Mike?
No, that was Kathy. So that op's still happening.
Yeah.
Now that's going to be our first real success.
Yeah, I'm excited. So speaking of being nervous, I am for some reason I am a little nervous, but I think I agree with what you're saying. I think it's just because it's outside your comfort zone, right? So like doing that. But yeah, that op is tomorrow.
Yeah.
As
We're
of this
recording
recording.
this on February 6th.
Yeah.
And tomorrow's Night to Shine.
Yep.
So ran into a little bit of a hiccup there with, thinking that we could film the whole thing. So we're going to have to see what
we can do, yeah.
what they let us do. But, I mean, I love Zach, dude. I've been hanging out with him almost every day.
Nice.
Just hanging out.
Yeah.
And,
You said your kids love him too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I like too, is that my kids have not been exposed to somebody with special needs. And so it's like, and kids kind of are a little bit raw when it comes to seeing something new. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like one time there was a kid with like a birth defect at gymnastics, and she was doing all the tricks and stuff. But my daughter, like when they came up in front of all the parents to drink water, she goes, "Dad, look, she's only got 1 foot."
Yo, kids don't care.
Yeah.
They don't
And I was
care.
like, "Hey, geez," and the girl was like, "Whatever, I know I only have 1 foot or whatever."
Right.
But yeah, that's how kids go. I remember one of my nephews, we were walking in Circle B, and somebody came by that was like, had cerebral palsy.
Mm-hmm.
And he said pretty loud, "What's wrong with him?" Like he said it as he's passing. "What's wrong with him, Uncle Phil?" And I was like, "Hey, gosh, geez," like it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
In a sense. So I enjoy them being able to see just the good of being able to hang out with somebody that experiences life differently.
Right.
And Zach's like definitely different. And I wanted to get the ear for him, because the guy talks like, I don't know, it's like very under his breath kind of thing. So now I know what he's saying. Now I can communicate with him. And I didn't want to be his buddy for like 3 hours and him saying something, and I'm like,
I don't know what you just said to me.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
well, technically, Kathy's is op 7, right? Because we're technically doing Mike's op right now for the week, which is also has been a failure.
that's been an L.
Yeah.
So our main thing that we're doing wrong is we're depending on our audience, but we don't have an audience.
We don't have an audience. Not yet. Not yet.
So I think that all my ideas were like, 50 people.
One person,
I think
3 people.
I think 50 of those people, like, typical whatever our views are. I think like the lowest is like 50. I'm sorry, guys. That like, 5 of them are probably gonna come out. They're watching a ministry channel. They're down, and that's not the case. I mean, not to hate on you guys, but it's just kind of like, I guess I just thought, like, even with the Night to Shine thing, like nobody's brought drills or vacuums.
Yeah.
So there's all this like, I'm trying to find these ideas where we can use this angle of like having an audience so that we can be more effective in the ministries that we're doing. They can participate, but we're not there yet. So the only ones that we've succeeded on are the ones where it's all on us.
Yeah.
So
far.
So we need to have all ideas for a while where it's me and Tony doing the work, and let them kind of, because I don't think they understand. I think a lot of people don't realize that at the end of every video, we're getting to work.
Yeah.
I don't think that's out there yet, you know?
No. And I think, you know, we'll see where the tide turns, or we'll see where, you know, where things go, because it's also the beginning, right? So, like, just like with any endeavor that you go on, like new endeavor, you're going to fail over and over and over and over again until you'll start to get more and more wins. But, you know, it's kind of, I don't mean to bring it back to this, but it's kind of like the way my mind works, it's kind of like sales. It's kind of like sales,
Okay.
in a way. You get 9 no's before you get like your 1 yes. So it's somewhat of a numbers game, and it's also, you know, I think, you know, when we first started this, we had conversations, and our goal isn't to become famous or to get like a bunch of views. Our goal is to just try to take small bites out of our own community.
Right. Obedience over everything. Like just output. You know, it's like,
right.
I think all that stuff might, you know, would come in time. Like
Yeah,
if
I agree.
God's going to bless us, you know, or whatever.
And even if it's on, whether it's on this side of eternity or the other side, I think we'll get it. But it's not. I don't even think it's necessarily about that either. I think we're just trying.
Go ahead, man. You don't have to stop.
I'm just saying. I want the audience to hear the cough every single time. No, I think we're just trying to. I think we're just
I'm trying to parse this out.
Yeah. No, you're getting over a sickness, so. We're just trying to have a positive impact in our own community, and then whether that leads into other people trying to do things in their own community, then it will have like a bigger harvest. But other than that, like if it's just you and I for 2 years doing our thing, then let it just be that, and we had talked about being okay with that.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't set a goal on 2 years. That was
right. No, I said, I guess what I had said back then, I kind of still agree. Just like we're committed for 2 years, and then we'll pick our heads up and see where to kind of go from there. But it's not just I don't imagine this being just a 2-year endeavor, and then all right, another failed podcast or another, whatever. I mean,
the crazy thing is, like, this is the first time I'm enjoying ministry in a real way, you know? Like, it's cool to be able to have a conversation and say, like, yeah, DUI suck. All right, let's go stop them, you know? And it's like, you don't get that. One thing that really bothers me in the church, man, is when you get in these prayer circles and then people are saying things as if 1 Peter 4:10 does not exist. Like,
there's an address.
Yep.
You know that one.
And so they'll be like praying, and it'll be like, you know, God, I just really need, or guys, I really need help with, you know, my son. He's not doing well in school, right? You'll have 4 teachers up in that prayer group that don't raise their hand and say, I'll tutor him. That's weird to me.
Yeah.
That's a strange thing. I don't think that's global. I think that's Western. I hope so. But I'm telling you right now, that would not happen in the book that we're reading. Like, can you imagine?
We're supposed to carry each other's burdens, aren't we?
Yeah, and use our gifts to serve one another. You know what I'm saying? It'd be like if I know jujitsu, right? I know jujitsu, and then somebody is telling me, like at church, where, you know, you're there because you're my sister or brother in Christ, and you're saying, like, I got bullied. Bro, I'm immediately offering to teach you how to fight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to be like doing it, hey, everybody, look at me. No, I'm going to wait until I get my spot where I can talk to them one-on-one.
Right.
You know? And it's just pretty wild that's honestly, man, that's, people have offered to pray for me, and I appreciate that, like after, you know, something. But there's only been maybe 2 or 3 people. I've been in the church for 17 years now. there's only been maybe 2 or 3 people that will hear me pray and then go and then offer to do something about it.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know
And
if
those people are always remembered in my
Yeah.
heart. Like, and they've had some huge impacts on me in my life. So,
because they've sacrificed that, it's about I feel like in things like that, it's a sacrifice. Like they're sacrificing either time, energy, whatever sometimes finances, whatever the case is.
yeah.
To try to make a difference. And I don't know if I've told you this, again, another quote, I'm sorry, but I read this book called If by Mark Batterson. And,
Yeah, you've said this.
Yeah,
man.
I've said it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I do agree with it of
Go ahead and say it if you want to say it.
Praying as if everything depends on God, and working as if everything depends on you.
Yeah. Yeah. So
we're not saying that there's not power in prayer, because there definitely is. And I will say this, I would want to have a prayer warrior in my corner 100%. But I also want a brother.
James is so obviously against like just praying for people though. You know? James immediately says like why would you send them, why would you say go be blessed and send them off hungry?
Right.
You know? Just doesn't make any sense.
Right.
That's garbage. But since I honestly, it's like, why aren't we emphasizing that verse in our churches, like how it goes? I don't know, man. That's something that I'd like to say in a megaphone to a lot of pastors, you know, where there's no real, like deacons are just, they're not really praised in the church. Like they're not really seen as active places of ministry, and they should be. Right? I mean, that's what we're being, really, is like we're out there being servants to the needs of the community, which is what the deacons had to do. You know, we're not preaching the word. I mean, you're not going to sit here and hear a sermon from us, because I don't really get into the word like that. You know, I mean, I understand it, sure, but you got to be like in love with it to be a pastor, dude. You got to really like that thing. You'll like studying it and working it up and down, and it's like really seeing every angle.
But you are a youth pastor. I mean, we had one of your kids.
I know, dude.
But even then you weren't like that,
bro. It's like you can really call it in. At least nowadays, since nobody really holds you to the standard of what the Bible holds you to. You know, I mean, it's like.
What do you mean?
Well,
like call it in.
Call it in, like just send in your like whatever's working for you work. Like it's not your best. You're kind of calling in like send the sub, you know?
Oh, okay.
So what I mean by that is that you can kind of coast with and call yourself a pastor even though you're not in the word like those guys were. And they're not like preaching the word as their main job. This is what they do. That's their role. That's like primary. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I guess you've been in ministry, and I haven't really been in that.
Oh,
I haven't worked in the church
pastors
like that.
Nowadays, man, they clean toilets, thinking that that's servant leadership. You know?
And I think that is in a sense.
That's sinful.
You think that's sinful?
Dude, you are not called to be doing that. God gave you a gift. Go do that.
Interesting.
You don't think there's enough servant leadership opportunities in preaching the word? You know, it's like that's where you're supposed to be. If you're really called to that, go do that. So what I think is, if you're sitting there feeling like that's ministry, to be cleaning toilets and doing that kind of stuff, maybe you're a deacon, dude. Maybe this isn't your role because you don't understand the importance of like focusing on the word, you know, and preaching and teaching. So I don't think it's right, man. I don't think it's right that pastors allow themselves to be so spread out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that. I can see what you're saying.
I mean, how many committees did Paul sit on, dude? You know?
Sanhedrin.
Like how many situations where you don't need a pastor's understanding of the Word of God to lead that area of the church, but yet he's there.
So, okay. So what would be servant leadership in your eyes for a pastor? Because I think like the first thing I think of, I don't think of like cleaning toilets. I mean, I can understand if you're trying to help out and do something, but when I think of that, it's more of like pastoral counseling or something. You know, like a marriage is on the rocks and they come to see the pastor's guidance or something, and then, you know, he's talking to them and he's going through the word and things like that. I think that's
his angle, because he understands the word. He understands.
Right.
Because the thing is, man, a lot of those things are in the gray, dude. You went through a situation that was, you know, could have gone either way, right?
Yeah.
So it's like a pastor could understand that, could have experience in that, and be able to educate you, you know, be able to give you guidance. This is how this goes.
And I did have that.
We're talking about his divorce, by the way.
Yeah. Shout out. No, but I did have a pastor friend. He was my like he saw me when I was like comatose. Like he saw me at the worst of my worst, like when I was the most broken that I have ever been, and he was just a friend, a brother, and he just kind of was just there. And it wasn't, I do think there's a silence is a gift that I think you can give to people. Like I think of like a time for me, like I like asking this question to people just to kind of get to know someone a little bit deeper. And the question is,
go ahead, dude. I'm going to be mature enough.
Do it.
Eventually.
Do it.
To not laugh at you when you're doing this.
What's the kindest thing someone's ever done for you?
Okay.
And you know, when I think of those questions, like I obviously have, you know, I'll ask it 9 times out of 10. People ask me the same question, and I think of a time where I was at my best friend's bachelor party, going through the worst time in my life when I was heartbroken, but I also didn't want to be a Debbie Downer while I'm trying to when I'm celebrating my best friend's getting married, while my marriage is broken, and I told him that I was going to go take a shower because we were at the Airbnb, and at that time I was kind of self-medicating with weed, and so I told him I was going to go take a shower, went to the shower, and it was like a pool shower, so I went out to the backyard and was on the porch steps, and I was smoking weed, and I was just bawling my eyes out, and I had 2 friends that came out. One of the guys it was his bachelor party, and they just sat with me and they just rubbed my back, and they just sat for a second, and then they told me to whenever I'm ready to come back in, and that just they're silent. They just sat there in silence with me.
Yeah.
They didn't have to say anything. They didn't have to try to, you know, give me a quote or something like that, right? But it's just a silence. So I think there is a gift. I think silence is a gift that you can give to people.
Yeah. Yeah, I think God gives us that treatment quite a bit. I mean, dude, how many times have you ever just not gotten the answer from prayer and had to go to I always have to go to the Word, you know? And it's because he's already said it. That's the thing. Like, he's already given you the answer. When I'm asking, like, God, why is nobody showing up to this op? You know? It's like,
what's the answer he's given you?
Well, do not grow tired of doing good. You know?
Boom.
Just go. And then, you know, you start thinking about, okay, did any of these guys really care how it ended up? Or did they just go? You know?
Yeah.
So they weren't sitting there saying, like, all right, Lord, before I go, you got to tell me.
Give me a sign.
If this is going to go well or not. They're just like, hey, I'm running in. You know?
I think that's like walking in faith, because you don't know the outcome.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, man, I just think that this is like the first time that I'm really enjoying it. I really enjoy this kind of ministry. feels hands-on. It feels like, I feel like I found where my brain can really like do some good, you know?
Yeah.
Just coming up with some ideas and on the fly like this, dude, feels great. And just being like, all right, well, let's go do that. Woohoo, you know? And
I don't know what that sound was. Yeah.
That's that, you know.
Goofy.
So, I don't know, man. I think that it just feels like the disciples woke up each day and we're just like, let's see what happens, you know? And when we show up here, it's like, let's see what happens. Now, our guests don't really, like, we haven't had anybody request to be on yet. We've had to go and pursue everybody.
Right.
And so the one thing that I feel like we're missing from our ministry is people in need, like that know they're in need, that got something that would be just like an easy, like it's teed up, you know? And I'd like some of those because a lot of, like, some of these ops aren't we can't find an op. You know, we just say, we kind of offer, hey, we'll help you. But there's no real, just let the yawn out, dog.
I'm burping. I had Chipotle.
Okay. So I think that, which is interesting. I mean, because the people that you know and I know, they talk about how they're overwhelmed in ministry. You know, it's like there's too much good to be done. But meanwhile, we've been, you know, we're going to be on 10 episodes here. And it's like nobody's coming to us that's actually in need. You know, right. I don't know what that is, but I guess it's just kind of cool to find some way to serve somebody anyways, you know? So that's the cool thing. Like, it's not ministry in the... Hey guys, thanks for watching this episode of the podcast. Just wanted to interrupt and say that we had a malfunction with our recording equipment and we had to use a backup iPhone for the next few minutes of this podcast. Still wanted to post it and keep it in here, but it does sound pretty bad. And so if you want to skip ahead to 56 and a half minutes, it's back to recording on our stuff. And so I just wanted to kind of let you guys know that we are using a borrowed studio, borrowed equipment. Our recording stuff is out of date and they don't make it anymore. So there's no support offered for it anymore. So we don't really have anything to our name on the podcast side of things. If you guys want to support us so we can have some stuff to our name, it's eatingelephantsministry.com, and we'd be happy if you guys helped us out there to help get established. All right? Church isn't all just homeless people and, you know, poor people. Like, it's your brothers and sisters all the time. Bear each other's burdens. It doesn't say, like, only the poor's burdens or only the widow's burdens. You know? Like, I got to bear yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And likewise.
Yeah. Which I feel like we should probably do something about that, you know?
You want to help me with that?
Yes. We talked about that ahead of time. But I'm saying, like we need to have something where we bond.
Yeah, I've been enjoying the walks.
We have to have some kind of adversity, you know? Because, dude, I've had a lot of friends in life.
Yeah.
You know? But
you have friends?
The only friends that I really like that stick through it all are people that you go through.
You trauma bond.
It's not even trauma bond. It's like the Marines, right? It's a brotherhood because you suffer together.
Right. Yeah, you're in the trenches.
Right. So it's not like, oh, this bad thing happened to me and this bad thing happened to you. I feel like we need to make
bad things happen to each other.
Well, we have to suffer together.
Oh.
Gosh, just let me get that. You know what I'm saying? So that's something I think we need to establish, a brotherhood between me and you. Because there's some distance here, I feel like, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's nothing like against you or nothing. But I think, you know, if the audience doesn't know our history, you know, you were in the youth group when I was kind of coming out of it.
Yeah.
Because I'm 33, you're 28.
Yeah.
So,
We went to a youth group or a youth camp together. I think you were a leader at that youth camp. What was that, Stetson?
Yeah, and I've kind of been a mentor in that stage of life, and then we kind of broke off for 10 years.
Yeah, and then I moved back to Lakeland.
Yeah, and then I kind of came back into your life whenever we were, really when I prayed to have somebody else for the podcast, then you showed up,
Okay.
you know? Yeah, so, and then you were going through your thing, so.
Yeah.
But now it's like, you don't want to say it's a mentorship, you want to say we're now like on the same levels. I feel like you don't like seeing me as a mentor, you want to see me as like
a brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know, like.
Are you offended by that?
It's not that I'm offended of it, man. It's one of those things where, like, I worry about you having too much confidence. Too much. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest with you and say, like, I worry about pride.
Interesting.
So, like that comment the other week, you know what I'm saying? I was like, I think you said that, and then I said, holy cow, I don't know why you just said that. We should pray or something, man.
Yeah, I feel like
it's like, why did you just tell me that you were in ministry for a year? That was a weird one.
I think it was probably more of a defense mechanism, to be honest. I don't know. I mean, it definitely could be a pride thing. I think. I don't know. The past year obviously has been a very life-changing year. So I think. I don't know, when you've had someone that completely destroyed you, maybe not completely, but destroyed you, and then made you feel less than, it's almost like I had to switch my mind, like a switch had to go on to where I was like, I won't let anyone make me feel that way again. So I think it's more of when I start to feel that way, it's more of I think it's a defense mechanism.
Right, for your ego, though.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, right? Because my ego was shattered. And it was God that helped heal me during that whole year, and with the church that I found, and then I don't know, it's weird. I guess it's weird because now that I'm thinking about it, I don't really think it was. I mean, I guess technically it's ministry, like doing a men's group and like facilitating a men's group every single week.
That is ministry.
So I guess, but if that's the case, then I technically was correct with what I said. That I had been doing it for a year with a bunch of guys.
Right. But the purpose I'm saying is, why did you say that?
Like I'm saying, I think it was a defense mechanism,
right.
Probably. Yeah.
It's like I feel like I insulted you by saying you get nervous. Like it affected your ego, so you're like, hey, I've been in ministry for a year. No, you said no offense, and I was like, whoa. So
I think sometimes I don't think you
have. It's not like you're a douchebag, dude. I'll tell you that. Okay.
Thank you.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that I can sense, I can see things sometimes, and I'm like, okay, that's his kind of, that's where he feels like he needs to say that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. It's one of those things where I think that pride is one of the most dangerous situations, because God stands against you if you have it. You know?
I agree.
It's like he doesn't really stand against. He doesn't like declare, I stand against any other sins. It's like, but whenever you try and take credit from me, dude, it's like boom. Or whenever you try and kind of puff yourself up, it's game. You know.
I don't try to, and I guess in my own mind, right? In my own mind, I don't try to take credit for it, because I know that I know that I know that if it was not for God just holding me like a dad to a son, that I would not be where I am today.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like I'm.
That's the good
know
side.
I mean?
Yeah, that's you're giving credit in a good way there. Yeah.
Right. And then when people, like when I tell the story to like certain people, like when I was starting the men's ministry, like I told them like day one whenever I started, I was like, hey guys, this is my situation. This is what happened. This is my, if you guys don't want to like come in and learn, or like not even learn, but be taught a lesson through me, I completely understand, but I just wanted to be open and upfront. Because that's the other thing, like starting the men's ministry, I would not have even done it if I didn't feel like God was asking me to do it, or calling me to do it, because I didn't want to do it, because I felt like I didn't have anything to offer.
God's using you, man. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
I prayed and you showed up. It's like, it's not like you sent somebody else.
Right. Shout out Yahweh.
Sure. Yeah. So
that's also a defense mechanism. When I get compliments, bro, I try to diffuse it with humor.
Let me pause and fill this water up. Dude, hold on.
Yeah. All right. Pause. We were talking about this morning, just like some of the things that I'm like going through right now, like with the move and everything, like kind of getting things for the house that I need to get, and God's just provided like every single step of the way, and I knew that my landlords were moving back, and the way I honestly just kind of had faith about it, because I was somewhat nervous in December about like finding a house, because like, all right, bro, I mean, it's a month away, like, whatever, I kind of need to figure it out. But in my mind, I was like, well, I didn't see what happened last year happening, and God, you provided at the exact moment when I needed it. So I was like, all right, I trust you again. Let's go. Let's run it back. And but I'm still surprised by it almost, which is weird. That I am surprised by how kind like our dad is, and he just provides every single step of the way.
Yeah.
So his timing's perfect. Like it's never late, it's never early. It's like exactly when you need it. Sometimes in my mind it's late, but it never is.
Yeah. It's like, to say that to you, I try and think of like the iron sharpens iron,
Right.
But at the same time, that means like you're grinding against, like I do have to grate against to sharpen. You know what I'm saying?
Right. There needs to be friction.
Yeah. So that I guess I bring that up just to kind of cause a little friction in you a little bit, just to kind of say like, this is something that's kind of the space that I've noticed between us, is that we're not really crossing into, once you get into a real relationship, it's like you start talking about what annoys you about the other person and what you really like.
Do you want me to tell you what annoys me about you?
I don't really,
no, I'm just playing.
Like, there's no point in saying like, the pettiness, but if there's something in me, right, where you see a speck in my eye, right, you still get the speck out.
Right.
It's not like you always have a plank in yours, or, you just like forget to help your brother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you do see something in me, yeah, I mean, I'm going to be a little too abrasive at times, I'm sure. That's a constant for me, Do
you feel like
when you told me about when we had that one with Logan, the cop,
Oh, and you were you had drank like two Red Bulls.
It wasn't my best podcast for sure.
Yeah.
But you told me like, yeah, could have shown more respect, and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna think on that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, I think
I'm wearing a different shirt right now. Why is that, Tony?
Look.
Why is that, Tony? Guys, I had a different shirt.
He had a tank top on with with a cape on it.
I might put it on right now.
Do it. And I walked in and I didn't even think anything of it when I saw him the first time, but when I put the camera on him, I was like, that shirt is not flattering on you, brother.
He said it just like that, boys.
Yeah.
Girls.
I was like, that's not flattering on you. And then
I said, what do you mean? My arms don't look big? He said, no, dude.
And then I walked over to him.
He went over and said, bump, bump.
Yeah. Hey, man. I'm trying to,
So, sure.
All
right. No, honestly.
Would you rather me not say something?
Not something that's said in the church is talking about gluttony,
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Like, you can go ahead and say that. I mean, you said it in a funny way, but at the same time, like, you're comfortable being fat until somebody calls you fat. Not many people call me fat, man. And when I say that, I mean like 3 people in my whole life. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like, it kind of gives you a kick in the butt. Like, dang, dude, I need to lose some weight.
So I have the opposite. So I've always been kind of a hard gainer. Like I had my fat stage in high school, but
okay,
I've always been a hard gainer. And my brother, since I was a little kid, has always said you need to get some meat on your bones. And then when him and I started working out, like the first time we started 75 Hard, or like shortly after that, when we kind of got serious about fitness, he would always call me a skinny bitch. Yeah. so that's my version of that.
No, like a lot of guys will say, like, man, you're a big boy, man. Well, yeah, I am.
Yeah.
But that's not derogatory.
No.
You know what I'm saying? That's not iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
I'm sure this is the internet now, so everybody's going to be calling me fat. So
you're not fat, like you're not obese. You're not obese.
Apparently I am.
I didn't say you were obese. I just said
you said
bump, bump.
Bump, bump. Yeah, and then you said it's not flattering.
Look, the way I see it, I want a friend. If I'm eating salad,
and that's why I'm saying this to you.
If I'm eating salad and I got something in my teeth, I want a friend to tell me I got something in my teeth before I walk around all day with something in my teeth.
You want a friend that points to you whenever something you said is like obviously covering for some insecurity or being prideful?
Yeah, I think I'm
coming at you, dog.
That's fine, but also
I'm coming at you.
I think there's also
this is what I'm saying. We can understand whenever we're being aggressive with each other, it's in grace, right?
Yeah. That
you're doing it out of love and grace. Like, that's the thing that mentors have always had for me. But if we're brothers, then we just have to have it for each other.
Right.
Because in a mentor situation, that junk doesn't go the other way. I'll tell you that right now.
Right.
Okay? Like, they'll say some mean stuff, man.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah.
If you're trying to counsel somebody, like they do not ask you about your life, which is what I'm thinking of. Like, how much do you really know about me? You know what I'm saying? You don't really. do you ask much about my side of things? So
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. But to be fair, I don't know if you ask me a lot. I think I just openly share.
Nah, brother.
No?
No. I'm going to be like.
Talk to me.
I'm trying to be there for you as much as I can, right? So if we're going to be brothers, it has to be open communication between both of us. You have to be interested in my life.
Yeah.
That's something where as we kind of close, because we're supposed to be close. Like, it's supposed to be a certain amount of, like, when I look at you and you look at me, and this is not gay at all right? But it's just kind of like, all right, whatever he's going through, I'm going through. You know what I'm saying? Mm. And that's not where it's at. That's not where it's at, where it's like, I'm not your first call. You know what I'm saying? You lost your relationship tomorrow. You've probably got 5 calls you make, right? I'm one of them, sure.
For sure.
But none of those 5 are brothers, where it's like.
I'd probably call my brother.
Yeah. Okay.
I would say my brother
blood is thicker than blood is thicker than water, right? Do you know that term?
Yeah. I've heard it.
Okay. So it's not a biblical term.
Right.
But it's talking about the blood of the covenant that we have with Christ is thicker than water of the womb. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, you have this earthly family, but there's a spiritual family that's how tight we're supposed to be, right? It's weird to quote something not biblical in that, but at the same time, when we look in the Bible, we see that those guys, really were committed to each other. Really committed to Christ, but it was kind of I don't know. I mean, that's strange. The disciples don't show as much brotherhood. Well, never mind. I mean, Acts, like, sold everything and they had no need amongst themselves. Like,
yeah. And then even speaking of like brotherhood, like we were just saying, like there's going to be friction, right? And like the disciples literally fought amongst themselves while Jesus was still there.
Peter got called a hypocrite, man. To his face by Paul. It's not like that's nice at all.
Right. And that's like the head of the church or the first pope if you're Catholic.
So, it's I think that, okay, let's do this. We need to go through some hardship, me and you, so that with the adversity. Go ahead.
I will also say this. You were also someone that while I was going through adversity, you were like, I'm going to pray that tomorrow's like the worst day for you if you're not supposed to do what you're supposed to do.
That was not what was said.
No, what did you say?
I said, let's pray, and if tomorrow's bad, then that's
not what you said. I know exactly where we were.
Oh, I said, okay, yeah. So I said, I'm going to pray that tomorrow's bad if you should go my way of where I think you should go. Right. I thought you should stay in the relationship. All right?
Yeah.
Right? And you were like,
I also thought that for a long time too, and then it wasn't.
Right.
There was just sign after sign, and then that day,
I don't think there's any problem with us having a little pray off, and saying like, let's let God decide, bro. And so pray off. It sounds so lame, but you know what I'm saying? Like, if we want to decide something, right, and we can't figure it out, it's one of those methods that I'm okay with experimenting with.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like the be all end all, but
no. And I mean, during that time, I was calmed. I will say this, talking about adversity, and I think God uses this, and I think I don't know, like you have to break a horse in order for the person that is riding the horse to, like, it tells you where to go. Mm-hmm. I think God breaks people so that way He will tell. So I was broken, and he just, it was the closest that I had ever been to Jesus. And I've always had a relationship. I mean, there's been seasons in life where, some seasons are, it's a winter, so I'm not that close to God. There's other seasons where, all of them, right? So you are close to God. You're like 2 steps away, and then you're like, okay, I'm coming back, right? So
one part, like, if we commit to something like this, that stuff goes away, man. There ain't gonna be no season where we ain't pursuing. You know what I'm saying? Because the iron sharpens iron. Because there's always gonna be that. You know what I'm saying?
I do. I think,
like, this whole spiritual high stuff of whatever camp we go to and kind of stuff, that stuff's for like that stuff's for people that aren't investing in their walk consistently. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Like, you always have that presence. Sure, there's some cool moments with God that happen, but I don't think it's like, I don't think if we're brothers, there's ever going to be a time where you feel like God's far from you.
I think God is as close to you as you want Him to be. But I also don't think
what.
So like I think
I don't think that's.
So I think of like the prodigal son. Like, if you choose to run, then he's gonna give you that. He's gonna allow you to run.
Yeah, but dude.
But if you get close to him, about
miracles, dog. And some people don't get miracles. It's like I know an alcoholic guy that told me that he was at a party one time, and a freaking audible voice came in the room and said, "Put that beer down." You know what I'm saying?
Like, everyone heard it?
Nah, like he was alone in the room.
Oh.
And a stinking voice hit him.
I ain't never had that.
Right.
Have you had that?
So how close is God to that guy when he's yelling behind his head? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's.
I think we're always close, right? He's always there.
He's always there.
And I get what you're saying, right? That you can walk away and stuff, but the advantage of what we could pursue is that we're never going to let that happen. You know, even if you do go away, right? I give you over to Satan, and there's that scripture, right, where it's like, all right, you want to screw around, go screw around, all right? But I'm saying, like, as long as we're in the fold, as long as we're in the pursuit, you're going to make sure I stay on pursuit. I'm going to make sure you stay on pursuit. There's not going to be any like, you know, oh man, it's okay. You know, you don't have to do this. Like,
no, I don't think so.
You know, God still loves you, kind of stuff. I'm gonna tell you, like, you need to get to work. Then you need to get after it.
Yeah,
you're kind of pissing around, like you're doing something, and that's why you're feeling this way. So let's get after it. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Yeah.
I do think. I mean, what you're saying is biblical, right? So, like, I think it's in Proverbs. Again, I don't know the address to it, but, like, you know, if one falls, like, it's better for him to have someone to help pick him up. You know. Oh snap! You got it pulled up. You had it on deck. What's the ad? Do you really have that one?
What do you think I'm doing,
bro? Pull it up.
17:17. A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. Okay, that's the first one. All right, so let me see here. I don't know where this other one is. I think it's like 18. Keep talking for a second.
No, but I also think we were talking about pride, and I do think this is a conversation that I've kind of had with God lately as well, because I do think sometimes, I think all men, I think all people, don't want to just, but we all deal with our own pride, and I think you either humble yourself or God will humble you, and when God humbles you, it is way worse than if you were to just humble yourself as well. Yeah. So, like, you either humble yourself or you get broke or broken. And I think that's a big thing. So that's something that I've been kind of praying about, because I think I have overcompensated, because, again, I had, like, growing up, I had no self-esteem. I didn't have a high self-esteem. I've always kind of dealt with the depression.
Yeah.
And
the muscles make you feel better about that, you're saying?
I think working out in general makes you feel better.
Because when I met you, you were like, I'm thinking about being in personal, or what is it, fitness guy? Like the competitions?
Oh, no. So Justin made a joke that I should be in a bodybuilding comp.
There you go.
Yeah.
And you were thinking about that.
Yeah, I was.
And I kind of said it plainly. I was like, how are you going to be a bodybuilder for the Lord? Because it doesn't seem like there's, I mean, I don't know how you would turn that into ministry.
I don't know. I think, you could make an argument the body is a temple, right? So you might want,
That's the thing. That's the thing you said to me. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you can make that argument. I think it also depends more on like your heart posture. So if you're doing it for like the appeal of man, then your heart posture is wrong, right? But yeah. I also I have like ADHD, so I just like getting my hands in other like new things, and I like new tasks, and I like new. Like,
you're in the right spot.
Like that.
You're in the right spot. Right.
So that's why this podcast and doing the opposite kind of scratches itches for me.
Yeah.
So that's why because Justin brought it up to me, and I was like, I don't think I'm that big or anything like that. But that's why.
Did you mean this verse? It says 18:19. A brother offended is more unyielding than a strong city, and quarreling is like the bars of a castle. No?
No.
From the fruit of a man's mouth, his stomach is satisfied. He is satisfied by the yield of his lips. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruits, which is what we're doing, guys. We're trying to love the tongue. That's why we talk and then we do.
Pause.
Love
No,
the
that's
tongue?
yeah.
That's the pause?
That's the pause. No, it's not that. It's talking about like having some. Typically, I don't think it's about a brotherhood necessarily. I mean, I think a lot of people attribute the verse that I'm talking about to like marriage, right? Like if one stumbles, like it's easier, it's better for someone to.
Yeah, he's not alone. Okay, I know what you're saying.
Right. To be picked up, and then after that, it's like a cord of three is not easily broken, kind of situation. So
there's the one here: whoever isolates himself seeks his own desire. He breaks out against all sound judgment.
I agree
That's good.
with that.
But here's the verse that I had queued up here is a friend loves at all times and a brother is born for adversity. So as we do this, man, we're gonna meet some adversity.
Right.
So we gotta cause some adversity to be bros.
So what?
It's just how it goes, dude. I think that the disciples had the whole crucifixion craziness, the upper room craziness. That's all like crazy, and then also every time you meet, any of y'all could get lynched and crucified. That's brothers right there.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I mean they're being persecuted by the.
All right. Here's what we do.
Okay.
Because we got to do. We have this idea. Washa, right?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Let's keep that under wraps. Let's not say what that is yet. Okay. But it's kind of like our
code.
It's our code for like being close, being crew.
Yeah.
You know? And we got to get to know each other and talk to each other in a real way. You know what I'm saying?
You want to do like couples yoga or something?
Couples yoga. Here's my idea. This is going to be crazy.
Okay.
I think I've already mentioned this to you, though. Did I tell you the 7 weeks? 7 weeks, 7 days, 7 rounds.
No, I don't think so.
I'm gonna call it I'm gonna call it a round of sevens. Okay. Oh, here we go, Phil. We're gonna say the crazy things.
Say it.
That God has laid on your heart.
Yeah, I'm gonna smack it down. 7 weeks.
This always feels good when I'm in these moments where it's like, you know, what the heck are you doing? At the end of the day, it feels better. That's why I got to remind myself. 7 weeks. Every day we talk.
Okay.
How long do you think we should talk? We're telling each other about each other's days or something. But the point is that I know you.
Okay.
That there's nothing about your life that's hidden from me. Like I know your sin, you know my sin.
Yeah.
I know your past, you know my past. I know your thoughts about things, and you know my thoughts about things.
Okay. We call it. I have a phrase for that.
What?
Fully known, fully loved.
Oh gosh.
Shout out FPC Youth Group.
Yeah. Shout out. No Diddy, dude. What the heck? All right.
No, man. Fully known, fully loved. So, like, how many people in your life?
We need to get there.
Yeah.
Me and you.
Right.
Just me and you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think there's anybody else in the church that is committing to something like that. You know what I'm saying?
I think so. Fully known, fully loved. Like Brian is the one that taught me that. Because he was like, "How many people like fully know you?"
Yeah.
And fully.
Let's do that. Okay. I don't care. I don't want to act like that. Might have been prideful right there. Like, oh, nobody else was doing it. Whatever. So, 7 weeks talking. I was thinking for an hour.
An hour.
Every day.
An hour.
I feel like because here's the thing, we got to get into a verbal argument. And see if we still like we got to get into a verbal altercation together. We haven't had one. We need to piss each other off to a point where we have one.
You don't think I've made you mad?
When?
You've made me mad a few times.
Maybe we could talk about that.
Yeah, well, we did talk about it.
We only talked about that one time I physically made you mad.
Right.
That's different.
To be fair, I was also in a different headspace.
The words didn't come out. We've never insulted each other, bro. You know what I'm saying?
What about the bump? Was that an insult?
Okay, sure.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe. What? Okay. When I serve in church, man, there's a certain side of people that get revealed. This is like church burn kind of stuff I'm talking about. But suddenly they tell you how they really feel.
Like all the things that were hidden. like the hidden expectations and things like that.
Like all the condescending remarks that have been said behind when it comes to whenever I ask somebody, tell me how you really feel about me. Let me tell you, man, once I open that gate, there's always new information that flows on through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that us getting to that point, an hour is a lot.
I don't know if
What do you want to do? Because it'd be weird to be on a phone conversation with a guy and there's just silence on the phone.
Right.
I mean, that's weird.
Yeah. I don't know if...
But how much do we do to the point where we get on each other's nerves?
Oh, 7 minutes is not enough time.
Let's do this. Let's do 30. Let's do 20 minutes. Gosh, I'm not a big talker, you know.
Yeah, like, that is something that you are on the podcast, especially if you have some Red Bulls in
by
you.
God. By God's grace, he's given me these communication skills. But as far as like out in the world, you know me.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, even like POJ and stuff like that. I like
to speak less words. I like slow to speak, slow to anger. I don't feel like the Bible says enough, and I think that's on purpose. You know what I'm saying? That's a short. It changed the world, and it's like it's that big, dude. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm just saying. Sorry.
Did your mind go dirty?
No, it's just funny that I like bring up that point out of nowhere. You know, it's like you should be able to figure some of this stuff out too. On the scripture, like you should be able to study it and find it out. But it's like, no, I can't figure it out. Sometimes I have to ask a pastor.
Right.
You know, I did that last week, dude. I did that last week. Just scripture that I'm like, where is this at? Why isn't this covered? So, anyways, Brotherhood. Doing, let's say 20 minutes a day, every day. We got to get to a point where it's something we don't want to do, but we still do it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So 20 minutes a day is already, 20 minutes tomorrow is enough for me.
Well, I'm going to see you tomorrow. We're going to be hanging out.
Yeah.
And morning and in the evening.
Yeah. So, but do we want to say 20 minutes no matter what? Even if we're hanging out all day, we still got to talk for 20 minutes on the phone?
You want to do it on the phone? Like if it's in person, you don't. But it could be like meaning.
Work.
Yeah,
this doesn't work because here's the thing I'm thinking. Right, if another guy wants to become like brothers with us, we're going to put him through this. Whatever we're establishing now is going to be like that's the crucible. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's like the thing.
It's the boot camp.
That's that's like how we become brothers, you know? So we're just kind of spitballing and seeing what would work. But
do you have brothers, right?
Yeah, I got 2 half brothers, yeah. So all right. 20 minutes for 7 weeks every day. We're not talking about just like surface level stuff. Everything's on the table, fully known, right?
Right.
And fully loved. I'll tell you I love you, all right?
It's just nice to hear sometimes.
But I'll mean it. That's the thing. I don't like how people say it, but they don't really know me.
Right. But
you don't know who you're saying that to, man. Like, you only know my name's Phil.
Not everyone even
I don't want to sit here and be messing around and saying, like, I love you to some guy that's, like, actively screwing over the church or something. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't really know you, so I kind of lied. Like, it's not true.
I guess you could love the idea of someone, like the version of someone that you know, right?
Yeah, that's the biblical. Okay, I'm talking about when I want to say I love you, I'm saying it like Jesus would say it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay. So
called to love everyone though, but you're wanting something deeper.
I would say that we are called to love everyone in the way Christ loves them. Right? But that doesn't look like love to everybody. Right? Like God's going to throw people in hell. You know? Like that doesn't look very loving. But love is just. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be very, like if that guy's a pedophile in the church, right? and I'm telling him I love him.
You went straight into it.
And I tell him I love him. Okay. Well, I don't really know him. And if I really love that guy, then I'd be calling him out on his sin. I'd be getting to know him to call him out on his sin. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And to like try to get him some therapy, you know, put my life on, like put my finances in that, you know, that kind of stuff. If I really loved him. But if I just wanted to act like I'm, you know, this is a church and everybody loves, then yeah, I just say that to that guy.
Well, I think there's like a fake love and there's like a real love. I don't think.
Well, I'm not about that first one, bud. You know what I'm saying?
You mean the second one?
Whatever. I'm about the real love. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
20 minutes, 7. Go ahead. Sorry, finish your point. I don't mean to be cutting you off.
I was just going to go kind of on a tangent, so it's not that big of a deal.
7 weeks, we talk 20 minutes a day, no matter what. If we fail, we restart. Never mind. No, we added to the end, dude. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Whatever, you know, so 7 weeks.
I don't know. We should not fail. All right? Here's the thing. I'm not
days?
always going to be the one calling you. Okay? We switch off every other day. So if I called you one day, you have to call me the next.
Okay. So this is only phone calls. So if we see each other in person and we're talking, that doesn't count.
I'd say that's 20 minutes, yeah, if we're hanging out. We have to have 20 minutes of communication to the point to get to know each other.
Okay.
Deal?
Yeah.
7 weeks. It's not over.
Okay.
Okay. Then that's adversity as far as communication goes. Okay? But there's nothing that's a limited amount of adversity. That's only talking about, you know, how it pains us to watch our words with each other and to know each other, you know, before we really commit to like, all right, we're real brothers, you know what I'm saying? 7 days fasting.
7, like, consecutive?
Yeah.
A 7-day fast?
Long suffering.
Damn.
Long suffering.
7 days.
So 7 weeks, then 7 days. And in that fasting, you're just praying for me and I'm praying for you. So it's showing I'm willing to go through a long amount of adversity for you.
You're going to kill my gains, bro. But I'll do it.
Do you want to make an exception of protein shakes or something? That's what they did in the Bible, I'm sure. They were worried about their gains.
Just saying. All right. I've been on a journey.
Do you want me to call you out right now? Like, because we're doing this biblical thing and you're just fine. Like worried about your gains?
Look, bro,
so I don't know what form of ego that is, but there it is. There it is.
You're not
Your response was, I'm worried about my gains. Whenever I asked you, would you put 7 days down for me while I put 7 days down for you? You said.
What did I say?
You're killing my gains.
Finish what I said. That was the first half.
Okay. What was the second half?
But I'll do it.
Okay.
All right.
All right,
So
but I'm still calling that out.
All I'm saying is I've been on a journey for the last 2.5 years to get from a small to a large, and now I'm at finally at a large.
I'm still bump. Okay, I'm still bump over.
Yeah, I mean, the 7-day fast may do well for you.
Oh yeah. Which brings me to my last point. Long-term adversity. We show each other that we can do that for each other.
Okay.
Then we just got to worry about the short term. I say short-term adversity, like something bad and just like real bad in the moment. You know what I'm saying? Like if there's like sometimes you can suffer for somebody until they really piss you off.
Right.
And then it's like in that short moment you lose it.
Right. You're like F you. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and do that. 7 rounds.
What does that look like?
7 rounds.
Of?
I'd say we slap the shit out of or slap the crap out of each other. I've tried not to cuss on this podcast
slap
until now.
the crap out of each other.
I'd say it's like you ever been to that night in jiu-jitsu where you slap each other?
No.
Okay.
But it's like slap jitsu?
No. We're just it's basically slap boxing. 7 rounds. And it's just like we're gonna take We're going to hit each other.
You understand, like, you're three times my size. How much do you
That's
weigh?
why we're slapping.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I think slaps hurt no matter what size you are. I mean, I'm going to have a lot of reverb here.
Yeah. We did hit.
This is a crazy idea.
That one is
7 rounds. What do you want to do? Because if it's grappling, I'm going to win. Right? That's not very fair.
Right, but I also think if it's slap boxing, you're also going to win.
Okay, well, give me a disadvantage. One hand? That seems too disadvantageous. What if we did rounds? One person's only defensive. One person's offensive. That way you always kind of get your hits in. I'm not going to go 100%, I'll tell you that. What do you want to do? We got to get into a fight together. We got to do something where me and you are pissed off for a short amount of time and a lot, but we still show love to each other.
All right, what about this? 7 slaps. So I get 7 slaps, you get 7 slaps. At times when there's short adversity, you're hitting the shit out or hitting the crap out of me. I'm hitting the crap out of you.
We already said it.
Yeah. So I don't know. Have you ever seen How I Met Your Mother? It's like a slap bet, but we both get 7 slaps.
But we still have to be brothers after it.
Correct.
That's why I'm saying maybe that's not enough. You know, it's got to be enough pain.
I mean,
where you want to quit, but you don't because you care about it. There's got to be enough pain and adversity where you want to stop, but you refuse to. If it's just a little adversity, you know it's going to end. That's what I was thinking boxing. So if we go 7 rounds of just hitting each other, I'm thinking by round 2, I want to sit down and be done. Especially if my belly's hurting from some big old slap, dude. But I understand there's a big size difference, so yeah.
Yeah.
We can initially agree on, because I'm thinking I don't want to get injured, so slapping's the best way. Because, dude, fasting, I'm going to want to quit on day 3.
Yeah, that one's going to suck, bro. That one.
We've never done 7 days.
The longest I've ever done is 3 days.
4 for me.
Yeah. In 3 days, I was.
So that 7's going to be like, dang.
Yeah. But I think it should be a good reset. I'm not against fasting. I try to fast like every year, but it's never been 7 days. Never been 7 days. Typically, it's been like, again, like I just said, the longest I've ever done is 3 days, and that was when I was trying
in the short term, though, right? We're talking about you know, I want to have a brotherhood where I know I could really piss you off in a moment, man, and you wouldn't turn back on me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I could also be a burden to you for 7 days, a real burden to you for 7 days, and you wouldn't turn your back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So on the fast, so we just water fast, I'm assuming?
Probably salts, you know, just to survive.
Like electrolytes?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's not food.
Yeah.
You know?
Like a little bit of lemon? Or no lemon?
I don't know, man.
I was just setting up what the ground rules are.
All right. So we got to figure out this combative situation. I think it's just, yeah, this.
You don't like the seven slaps.
Yeah, because then it's just like there's no cardio involved. It's just like all right, I slapped you 7 times, so we're cool. I think there's other initiation processes out there.
I mean,
that are just pain.
We hit each other in the nuts during a time where we were like, all right, if you miss a day, I'm going to hit you in the nuts. And if I miss a day, you get to hit me in the nuts.
We did that?
Yeah. Do you not remember?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Yeah. Let's not do that again.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, we could fight, but that just seems like that's not fair. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Doesn't seem as necessary. It's more so about going through pain, wanting to quit, and we continue until the end. But in the short term, I don't know, man. It just seems like 777. You know, I'm a pastor, dude. I used to be a pastor.
Yeah.
We got to do the little. I got to stop saying I'm a pastor. I'm not a pastor. I don't pastor anybody. What are you thinking about this idea?
I like the idea. I'm just trying to think of the 7 minute or the last
Good, 'cause
7.
I thought I was crazy.
I mean, you are. Well, let's get it straight.
This is the bite we're taking right here.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying. There needs to be I mean, the physical pain is the fasting. For that is a physical pain.
But it's long suffering.
Right.
Not short suffering. It's like, dude, you know,
like I don't know. I mean,
Jesus suffered for 3 years dealing with people that didn't really understand him. You know, he got frustrated sometimes, but then he also went through the short term of like his day on the cross. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And still endured that. Let's agree to it now. Let's agree to this for now, and if we change it, we'll let them know. And you know what we could do? We could record this lab fight as the follow-up. That'd be kind of crazy, but it's like brothers being born or something. You know? Brotherhood established. We're all red and stuff.
Yeah. No,
Point is not to win. I'm not trying to beat you.
the point is to get CTE. I get it.
No, it's not even that. That's why we're slapping. You know? The point is, slaps are just painful. It's simulating a fight, but it's not a fight.
Right. We'll agree, and then we can think of something if we change it.
Wow. God, you really gave me, like, this is crazy that I got somebody to agree to this. I just thought this was going to get shot down. This is craziness. But all right, man, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
You want to be brothers?
Yeah. I'm still thinking about the last 7, bro. I'm still thinking about the last 7 because I don't know.
If you figure something else out, we'll come back and reshoot this part and add it in or something. I don't know. Or maybe add your revision into the end of this.
Yeah.
That way everybody sees the, I don't know, it's like journalistic integrity, like not cutting things out, you know.
Right. Yeah, that's fun. All right.
And we just think about crazy things, like how to establish brotherhood. So, anyways, it's not for illegal things. It's for great, you know, doing God stuff.
I don't know about if beating the crap out of each other is God things.
You don't want to get in a fight? You don't feel like that's like a good testament, you know, to test?
No, I'm not against it. Like I said, I agree with it, but because I do think there is something about fighting.
Yeah, it lets us
That's
know.
why I like jiu-jitsu a lot too.
But it lets us know that we're not going to quit on each other over one bad tiff, you know, one bad issue in the moment.
We've had tiffs before.
I don't even see those as tiffs, dog. I mean, you're talking about that one time I choked you in the parking lot or whatever?
Yeah, bro. That pissed me off. That pissed me off a lot.
I laughed.
Yeah,
you know?
I did not.
I know.
Yeah.
Because you reacted like little brother kind of style, like, get off me, you know?
Well, I do think you try to little bro me. You do try to little bro me.
Yeah, I do sometimes, yeah. But it's because you're acting like a little bro sometimes, too. We'll talk about it over the next 7 weeks.
Yeah, we will. We'll talk about it. Okay, cool.
You down for that?
Yeah.
All right. Washa.
Washa.
Washa. Washa. All right. Okay. Anything else you need to say?
No, we can wrap this up. You boys got to pee.
I've got to urinate as well, dude.
Cross stream, Brotherhood.
God, thank you for this day. Thank you for I don't know, man. Whatever weird ideas you give. I'm not saying this is biblical in any way. I'm just tired of surface level friendships, God. That's really what it is. And I want to go to the church and find real depth and real connection. And so I don't know, maybe this is just something where this is just a me thing. I don't know, but I appreciate that you've given me a brother in Tony here that's willing to do it, and just you know, that's going to be cool. Probably painful. 7 days, Lord. Yeesh. But all right, here we go. I'll do it. I'll do it for my brother here, and that's the point. So I just want to I don't know, man. I want to be about having the depth that I see in your word, God, that those guys had with each other and that they had with you. It just stinks that we, you know, the church now, it's like you show up for an hour and you all shake hands and everything's acting like we're all close. And I just don't really know those people. And I want to be a part of the church that knows each other and that knows that we won't quit on each other. And that's what this is about. So I just thank you. Thank you for giving us the podcast, Lord, and just providing so much and being able to do this with a brother. It's pretty awesome. I appreciate that you don't really call us to walk alone, ever. And you're always there with us, yeah, but you also prefer that two or more are gathered in your name, you know, and I just appreciate that. And what we read in Proverbs is just talking about adversity. We're just trying to put ourselves in that and test ourselves before we get into the lines of the you know, opposing enemy and stuff. So we love you, Lord. Thank you for Tony. Bless his life. Bless this process that we're about to embark on, and allow us to be close, be brothers, blood thicker than water, and just kind of get a little taste of what those guys had, where they would lay their lives down for each other. You know, that's and just really bear each other's burdens, man. I just want to hear his struggle and just think of it as mine, and live like that. You know, where my bank account is exposed to him. You know what I'm saying? That's like, it's just real. I want that, man. So that's what I'm pursuing, and that's what he's pursuing, and I appreciate you. I love you, Lord. Thank you for this podcast. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Washa.
Boom. Let's go. I drank 1.5.